What is up, guys? Welcome to Truth and Transparency.
Listen, folks, I know there's a history here. I'd like to get this hearing in today. You know, everybody needs to just focus on the relevant facts, okay? I know there's a history here.
Are you talking up by Sunset Mart? Up the hill by the gas station?
Yeah.
Okay. Why did you? All right. Who's responsible here?
What's that?
Who's responsible here? Whose house is this?
Whose house is this?
Yeah. Been drinking or anything, right?
No.
Okay. Drive careful, okay?
Will do, thank you.
This is with the other group that ran away.
Oh, really? You just did shit? Awesome.
Yeah, those ones kept walking in the car. And the other one.
It's truly for the win.
That I was given to. So there was 2 different discs. Okay, they all knew about it.
We're not here to talk about the alcohol stuff, okay?
Okay, yeah.
But this is the second noise complaint we've had here tonight within 2 hours.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Is this your place?
Yeah.
Perfect. You know why we're here?
I see noise.
Noise, yeah.
Yeah.
Big speaker right there.
Yeah.
Nothing against having a party. Once neighbors start calling in, then we have an issue.
Like brains, and like if you need a lot of brains, you're gonna be in trouble.
This November 29th, 4 people that were murdered, and you want to fuck around. You got 8 families that are being affected by this, and they just need nobody from the universe. Fuck around and find out,
And
motherfucker.
so what he did was he had taken pictures of California.
Oh, you're from.
And-
I would be outraged if I lived in Moscow right now. I'd be lighting some cars on fire out there. I'd be flipping some cars. I'd get the frats going wild. Let's get some noise complaints going. Let's get some noise complaints going. There's about to be some noise up in here. All right, guys. What is up? What is up? Hello, moderators. Hello, members, subscribers, newbies. What is good? You guys have been great. I've been great. Hope you guys have had a good week. Again, hello, everybody, everywhere. I'm glad you like that hoodie. Well, I saw that Lori Vallow was sentenced to life. So I saw that JLR puts his face on Carly's mugshot. I mean, what's been going on? I leave Hector Projector for a week and shit goes crazy. But Miss Potts, Mike Drop In, Bella, Too Legit to Quit, Boston, Mod Squad, Bumblebee, Floydie, Noah Laley, JJ, VA Scorpio, Mandy Joe, Canadian mama, eh? Mic dropping. Look out. All those badass mods. I almost thought about having a couple mod shows. Like they have to like host and do all this shit. But let me just watch. All right. Welcome back. Thank you guys for the new memberships. Thank you for the super stickers. Super. There she is. Thank you there, Marsha. Marsha. Thank you. All right, guys, we're going to go head first because I'm going to prove it. The Kohlberger probable cause. In Kohlberger's probable cause, it is like a we think a bunch of ISP, Moscow police, you got the dabble with the FBI, because you got Blaker put in one, and there's just repetitiveness, and then you have Payne who put his in, and you got the we's going on, but they're saying I's and whatever. It's groupthink. I told you guys that in order to understand why, in my opinion, Ann Taylor has gone so hard at, hey, who are these officers? Because she's obviously have seen the names, sees these reports. Like, what the hell y'all doing? Let's get some training records, but very adamant about it. It's very important because these officers, they decided who got interviewed, who would get interviewed again. The direction of the investigation was due to the investigators, the detectives. So truly what was going on, there's over 120 people that had their hands all up in this mother. Okay. So, so here we go. I wanted to look, I told you guys that I went and looked at cases that were going on in Idaho after Ann Taylor dropped information about the ISP officers that she was wanting information on, people that, any names that were in any of the motions. I went on searches for these people because I wanted to know what they were involved in. And poof, would you believe it? A 2020 case pops up where a chiropractor, yes, a chiropractor, his name is Brian Drake. I'm going to read you a little bit about Brian Drake, going to give you the background. And this case, Brian Drake was shot. Okay, but let me just give it to you. So here you go. Check it out. Brian Drake was a practicing chiropractor. He resided in Hayden, Idaho. Brian Drake was married to Jennifer Drake. They had 4 beautiful children, 11, 12, 14, and 16 years of age. Brian Drake had offices in Hayden, Sandpoint, and Bonners Ferry, Idaho, where he would see patients. Dr. Drake was, by all accounts, a busy chiropractor. You have three different offices. And it was normal and customary for Dr. Drake, who lives in Hayden, if you go ahead and you do the math and you look at the map, to stay overnight in Bonners Ferry on 2 different nights per week, Mondays and Thursday nights. Ready? Let's take a look. I'm going to share screen for you. Let's go this way. Okay, there we go. gather my notes here. So Mondays and Thursday nights, he would stay out here in Bonners Ferry. This was his office. Okay. Right here, this building. All right. This is a coffee shop right here. This is a little alleyway right here. Okay. But you would drive, this is actually the drive through to the coffee store. This is like a drive through, and then you would come out here. And depending if there's a car there or not, like you'd have to like come over this way. And you could like, come in through here and be around in the back. And it's like there's a blue door up here and there's a blue door here. There's also blue doors in the back, or I should say rather glass doors, because it's multiple businesses are in this little building here. And this was his office. And so just so you guys can have a good look at it. All right. And we're going to leave it right about there. All right. So on March 12th, 2020, Dr. Drake, right here at this office, had spent the day seeing patients in Bonners Ferry right here. 6811 Main Street, Suite B. Dr. Drake shared this building with a financial advisor. His name was Kip Hartman. This building, which you guys are looking at, it is situated on a 45-degree angle to a north-south compass bearing. Okay? Because it's going to matter. Dr. Drake's office was located on the south corner of the building and consisted of 2 rooms. So the south is to the back, or I'm sorry, south is actually up here. So these 2 front windows, because the north is actually to the back, just in case you guys were wondering. And in this room, when you would go into the suite, so you'd go in through the glass doors in the back, and then you would have to like pick where you're headed inside, and you would then go through another door. Then like, the door would say on it, like, let's say Dr. Brian Drake. So then you would open up the door, you'd walk into the waiting room, and then there'd be a separate room, which is the exam room. So this is where he saw his patients. On March 12th, 2020, right before COVID went viral, Dr. Drake's wife, her name's Jennifer, she called him at 6:42 p.m. from her home in Hayden. It was routine for Dr. Drake and his wife to have a telephone conversation, usually at the end of the night. And remember, he stayed out here in Bonners Ferry because just to cut down on driving. He advised her when she called at 6:42 that he was seeing late patients who were still there and would call her when he was finished. Jennifer said that, hey, that call lasted about 10 to 13 seconds. These patients that Dr. Drake would see, Eldora and her brother Caleb. Eldora, living in Bonners Ferry for, many years, had her brother in town visiting from Hawaii, and they were getting adjusted. After being seen by Dr. Drake, Eldora and her brother reported to the police that they saw a white 2-tone large pickup Ford truck, like those big F-350s. And then it was stopped in the driveway through between the 2 buildings, right here where you see this like vehicle, stopped between the 2 buildings as they were leaving the office. And the office, when they would have left, is out the back. There's 2 glass doors. So they walked out the back, And they said that when they arrived, that there was only the doctor's vehicle, and that was it, except for this truck that was parked. It looked like the same truck when they left. This truck was parked. When they arrived, they said that there was somebody that was a bigger guy, like 6'5", big old gut, fatty bo batty, 350 to 450 pounds. That's who was in the office while they waited in the waiting room. So when they then leave, which was, they said after 7:15, they got there at 6:03. They left just after 7:15. Dr. Drake takes his phone, and at 7:17, he calls his wife. Jennifer says that they discuss family issues, just what's going on. And they did this for several minutes. Jennifer Drake said that her husband all of a sudden exclaimed out of nowhere that someone had struck him in the side. She's on the phone with him. And then he said he thought someone shot him through the window. He then stopped responding to Miss Drake. Jennifer Drake then hung up the phone to call 911 after a short period of time. Jennifer Drake estimated that the time from Dr. Drake no longer responding and to when she hung up was like 15 seconds. So he tells her, hey, oh my God, I just got shot through the window. And then boom, nothing. Then she hangs up the phone, and the police say, based on the timestamp from the phones and Jennifer Drake's estimation of time of when he stopped responding, puts the time of the shooting at approximately 7:26. ISP says Jennifer Drake dialed 911 to report what she had heard. Jennifer Drake was dispatch centered in Coeur d'Alene because she lives in Hayden. And they said that they had to then patch her call first up to the Bonner County Dispatch Center, and then they patched it up to the Bonner County Sheriff's Dispatch Center because she was calling from Hayden. The police said that there was an eyewitness. ISP says there was an eyewitness named Isaac. He was outside of his apartment, right here. Right here. This little one-bedroom dinger. Okay? ISP says Isaac was outside of his apartment near his car. Oh, was he parked over here? Or was he parked over here? And that his apartment was located directly across the street from Dr. Drake's office. Isaac later advised that he had observed an adult male dressed in dark clothing walking northwest from between Dr. Drake's building and a fence on the north side of the building immediately after hearing the shot. The shot. So remember, this is the south, that's the north. Now, Isaac said that the figure reminded him of one of the clerks that worked at the Liberty gas station, but could not be sure because of how dark it was. Isaac said he yelled to the figure words to the effect of, "Hey, was that you?" referring to the gunshot. Isaac said the man looked back at him and then ran north on the sidewalk of Main Street. Wait, but this is Main Street. So he was walking that way. Then when Isaac called him, then he's now coming back up because he's on Main Street going north now, like that way. And then to the northeast toward the State Farm Insurance Office. This is according to the police. Up here, the State Farm Insurance Office. Where's that at? Oh, wait. It's all the way over here. Back over here. Okay, so it's behind on El Paso Street. Okay. Isaac later said the figure was running in the direction of what he described as the pediatric office or kids' dentist office. He described this building as an A-frame. Now, Isaac wasn't alone. Isaac had a fiance named Aaliyah, like the rapper. God rest her soul. Aaliyah also heard the gunshot and observed the figure running away to the northeast. Isaac said he immediately got in his car and tried to find the man so he could take a picture of him. What? He said he dialed 911 to report the shooting within a couple of minutes of it happening. The call to dispatch from Isaac came in at 7:29 p.m. Where's my notes? Wait a second. Isaac's call into the Boundary Dispatch actually came in before Jennifer Drake's 911 call by the time it had been patched through from Kootenai and Bowner counties. Isaac was unable to locate the individual. Isaac and Aaliyah were later shown several photographic lineups, including one that contained a photo of Dr. Moore. But Isaac nor Aaliyah could identify any individual with certainty. Now, here we go. First of all, you guys know me. I go ham on the littlest things because it matters. Well, all of this made absolutely no sense, right? Absolutely. No sense whatsoever. Okay. Isaac at the time was 19. His girlfriend's 17. Easy to manhandle. But get ready for this. You ready for this? Get ready for this. I had so many questions. I was like, wait a second. Why is Isaac calling the police because he heard a gunshot? Like, are you sure you didn't hear a firecracker? Like, Isaac at 7:20, let's see, at 7:29 calls the police. But you're just going to call the police and say what? Say, oh, hey, I heard a gunshot. Then I looked up and I saw a guy. I just asked him, like, hey, was that you? And then he ran. And so then, like, I was following him to try to take a picture of him. Like, why are you calling 911? Because you heard a gunshot? Like, or did you see a body? Did you see somebody dead? Did you see somebody get shot? Like, what's this 911 call? What's on this 911 call? What does Isaac say on this 911 call? Then I said, wait a second. Isaac's 911 call, according to the ISP detective, it came in before Jennifer Drake's 911 call. I said, well, wait, what time was Isaac's 911 call again? Let's see. Okay. 7:29. Okay, well, what time was Jennifer's? Oh, the police don't say what time it is. Well, isn't that odd? Like, hey, girl, what time did you call 911? Right? Hey, where's your phone? Let me see it. Let me see what happened here. Would you guys believe this? Are you ready for it? What if I told you that Jennifer Drake never called 911? Jennifer Drake told police that she never called 911. What? What are you talking about? But the officer said that went on a tangent about this. Wait, let me back up. Wait, let's go right here. Dr. Drake's wife, Jennifer, called him at 6:42 from their home in Hayden. He was with some patients. I'll have to call you back. Dr. Drake calls at 7:17. They're on the phone. And after discussing routine family for several minutes, Jennifer Drake all of a sudden just says, my husband exclaimed that something had struck him in the side. He then said he thought someone had shot him through the window. He then stopped responding to me. The police then say that Jennifer Drake hung up the phone to then call 911. This was put in a probable cause affidavit? No way. Hold on one second. ISP Detective Sergeant, duly appointed according to law and acting as such, I make this affidavit in support of probable cause to charge Dr. Daniel L. Moore with the crime of murder in the second degree, and additionally in support of an application for a warrant to search a vacant lot, an associated semi-trailer located I am currently assigned to the District 1 office in Coeur d'Alene. No shit. Get out of here. I have been the investigating officer agent involved in numerous criminal violations to include murder, robbery, burglary, sale and distribution of illegal narcotics, firearms violations, possession and distribution of child pornography, fraud, and other crimes. In the course of this investigation, So explain to me how ISP writes up an affidavit for probable cause to arrest a man and straight up lies that Jennifer Drake told police that she never called 911. In fact, she had her phone with her and says, here, yeah, this is the only phone I use. I don't have a landline. I didn't call 911. Wait, what? Wait, back up. This affidavit is intended to show only that there is sufficient probable cause for the requested warrant and does not set forth all of my knowledge about this matter. I have set forth only the facts necessary to support a finding of probable cause and any facts that would lead the court to not find probable cause on the charges. You are arresting somebody and saying, this is your arrest. This is for your arresting. You're arresting Daniel Moore. And you put in your probable cause to arrest this man that Jennifer Drake called 911 when she explicitly over and over and over stated that she did not call 911. And in fact, her phone shows no record of her calling 911. Why in the world would they say that his wife was on the phone, hung up the phone, and then called 911? But yet they could never say what time that 911 call came in. It's because there's no fucking 911 call. You guys want to talk about probable cause affidavits? This is a probable cause affidavit for the arrest of a man. Just the same probable cause affidavit that you guys have read over and over and over from the same people that were involved in the same type of, you're arresting somebody for murder. Brian Kohlberger, murder. Daniel, murder. And nobody could ever lie. Now, the best part is that Isaac and his girlfriend said gunshots, plural, gunshots. Well, in the probable cause, let's just say gunshot. Jennifer Drake said when she was on the phone that she never heard a gunshot. What the fuck? You guys. Come again? What? I'll repeat that for you guys. Jennifer said her husband exclaimed, "Oh my God, her husband is on the phone. He gets shot. He gets shot." And he says, "Oh my God, I think I've been hit. Oh my God, I think someone just shot me through the window." Remember, they're on the phone for like 9 minutes. Okay. But what's interesting is why wouldn't you write in your probable cause what time the phone call ended with Dr. Drake, and then what time did you call 911? And all they're trying to say is they don't talk about that. And they just say that this Isaac kid, 19 years old, he calls 911. And then when they go to try to play the 911 call in court, get this. They go to press play, and then they have to stop it and say, "Oh my God, that's the wrong 911 call." And then they just never go back to this 911 call. Then they never talk about this 911 call ever again. Wait, what? So to this day, nobody has heard a 911 call that has to do with this case. Where is this 911 call? Where's Jennifer Drake's 911 call? Where's Isaac's 911 call? Well, guess what? Truth and Transparency is going to go get it. Truth and Transparency is going to do everything that they can to play that 911 call. You want to talk about some crazy ass shit? Where are these 911 calls? ISP took over this case on the evening. March 12th was the shooting at, they want to say 7:26. She says that she didn't have to call 911, guys, because Bonner's Ferry called her. Check that out. So, and that she received a call from Bonner's Ferry at like 7:44 or 7:46. Guess who was in on the investigation? Guess who was in on all of this? None other than Gary Tolson, the same dude that's involved ISP. And then wait for it, because I believe that Van Leuven is going to be involved in it with Brian Kohlberger. Van Leuven and Tolson And then you got the chiefs involved and the assistant chiefs. So this is ISP taking over after Bonner's Ferry said, "Hey, will you take this over?" Bonner's Ferry hasn't had a murder since 1969 or some shit like that. And here we have, now, correct me if I'm wrong. Last time I checked, okay, the first person that anybody would ever think like that this guy, Brian Drake, chiropractor, gets shot one time through a window that has the blinds closed, and this person hits an immediate kill shot that goes into the back. Like, how long would it take for you to bleed out? I mean, why didn't Brian call 911? Maybe was his wife saying like, "Oh my God, I'm calling them right now. I'm calling them right now." Well, as a judge, I don't care who really signed it because you're believing what the police are telling you, in my opinion. Like, who has the fucking cajoons to do this? So check this out. I said, I want to know about who in the world is Brian Drake and who would ever want to shoot this handsome lad. Well, Brian Drake, they lived in Austin before any of this started. He graduated, he went to Montana, got his undergrad from Montana. Then they go to Texas, and he got his chiropractic license and all that crap in Texas at Parker's in Austin. Then they were in Austin from 2002 to 2012. And then they had to get up out of Austin. Well, because of all of this case, and because I was looking into it, I couldn't find anything on this actual like shooting and like more information. Like, you have to like do some requests and get some public records going, because nobody was covering this case. The media isn't covering it. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? You know? Because what happens is, and we're going to get into, and I'm going to break it all down, but why I deep dive this and why it is so important for the Brian Kohlberger case and the Idaho4 case is because we are dealing with the same people that were running an investigation into the murder of Brian Drake. Okay. They are running the investigation into the murder of 4 Idaho students. Okay. Why does this matter? I think Ann Taylor is proving why it matters. So when I researched this, I came across a civil suit, and I'm like, what is this? How are we? Wait, there's a civil suit. What's going on? Oh, Dr. Moore, he was Tolson and this Van Leuven and these other guys. They got this 63-year-old chiropractor, Dr. Moore, to give a false confession to killing this man. And I'm like, and they were reading him, they did a shit job reading him his Miranda rights. But Dr. Moore over here asked the cops 5 or 6 times, I need a lawyer. I want a lawyer. And they just weren't giving him a lawyer. And so he's over here. It's like, yeah, sure. Like saying, oh yeah, if I was to do it, I'd get on my knees. I would take my gun in the opposite hand and then shoot from my knees and like, you know, whatever, doing all this, saying all this, you know, whack stuff. And then he's over here like, yeah, once I finally can talk to my lawyer, they're going to see that like none of this is true. Like they won't let, you know, so they violated his rights. And to the point that but we're going to get to how they arrested this man, but they arrested this man because of this probable cause. Okay. This affidavit that I just told you one lie. This motherfucker is all full of lies. So much so that it makes me pull out the affidavit for probable cause of Brian Kohlberger. And I'm like, holy shit, here we go. Like, let's take a look at this work here. And I'm like, how are you going to get away with lying that there's no 911 call? Like, how is this ever going to make it through court? Like, this has to come out sometime, right? So I was like, dude, I want to see what is in this civil suit, because Moore gets arrested, not right away. Moore doesn't get arrested until, so the murder was March 12th. And I'm going to explain what happens from March 12th all the way until he gets arrested on August 28th, 27th of 2020. I'm going to explain what happens in between those dates. And this man, they throw him like $1 million cash to get him out on, bail bond. And I mean, that's fucking high. I don't have $1 million, whatever. Nobody just has millions laying around. He's this doctor, 63-year-old man. Him and his wife's a nurse. They got a couple kids. They got grandkids on the way. He's coached in the community. Like, we're talking like your chiropractor, you know what I mean? Like the guy that, your mom had, and then they pass them on to you type of thing. It's all like your family referrals in this little town. And so here they pick up this other doctor. And what's in the probable cause is that he had a gas leak on March 15th. And these motherfucking dudes that are the police were like, oh my God, he tried to kill himself. This gas leak wasn't no gas leak. He tried to kill himself. What? Because he was grieving over this guilt of killing this other doctor that he, on March 15th, on a Sunday, went to his office to put the gas on and sit in there and, just baste away until he died. The fuck? I couldn't even believe it. That's what got concocted in Tolson and Van Leuven and these and these chiefs. Like, it's just woo. So I was just like, what is going on? This can't be real life. Like, and we're gonna get all to that. We're gonna get all to that. But fast forwarding to how I found this case and what made me go down this is because there's this civil case that popped up with it. And what happened is when Moore was basically, they used his false confession to obtain during the preliminary hearing, his indictment. They used that. Well, that got thrown out. And once that got thrown out, they had nothing. There was nothing tying him to any of this. So they had to fight it, whatever. It gets completely thrown out. And he's able to go. Not after, though, all of this destruction has happened to him and his family. But immediately what happened was, well, the day after Jennifer's husband was murdered, she's hitting up and calling the $1 million life insurance policy that she has on him. She's hitting them up. But then she immediately files for a civil suit against this other doctor. And I'm like, what in the world? So I wanted to read what this civil suit said. And so I pull up and I'm able to get my hands on all of the civil suit, which is Jennifer Drake filing against this Dr. Moore. Okay. And, then within your 21 days, your 30 days that you have, you can then, answer it, but you can also counter it. And so what I pick up is, at the time, I get the civil suit against Dr. Moore, and I get Dr. Moore didn't only just answer it. No, we're going to counter. We're countering this. We're suing you. And what's happened, and I'm going to read it to you guys because it's this wild. So what happened is that Dr. Moore was trying to get his discovery for his case. They only turned over 33 pages to this man. 33 pages in discovery of a murder case. Okay. And his lawyer was like, no, did a motion. No, you need to compel. Same thing, everything that Ann Taylor is doing right now. This is what his lawyer, like, where's all this? Where's this report? Where's this? Where's this? Where's this? Where's this? What's going on here? And they were just, she's like, it's been 6-7 months. Like, what are you doing? Like, where is this stuff? And still the majority of it never has seen the light of day yet. But whatever was turned over, okay, and that the Moores and their attorneys got their hands on, when I read this civil suit, because it's like, this is going to be like dirty ass airing laundry type shit. Because here, Jennifer Drake goes out to Facebook, goes out to, social media, and she's like, this is who murdered my husband, and is just like saying all of this wild shit about this man, Dr. Moore. Stuff like, we already know it's true. We just need more evidence to basically seal up we already know is true. And she's running around in these forums talking all this crazy crap. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to read to you this counter because I was blown away. I straight up couldn't believe it because I said, wow, what's going on here? So what happens is, let me grab my other notes here. Okay. Let me pull this up. When they interviewed Dr. Moore, they said, Dr. Moore, have you ever met this man? No, I've never met Brian Drake. Oh, you haven't? No. They're canvassing the area. They're going in places. Okay. But yet your office is just right over here. You've never, no, he doesn't live in the town. He just practices here, once or twice, a week. So that's what they're doing as far as canvassing. They're going around. That was in March like 24th of 2020. They don't then talk to Dr. Morgan until like May. And that's when they find out, I think it's like May 19th. They found out about this gas leak. And people that worked in his office, they all got headaches. They all were complaining about these headaches. And then here, he had some surgery done on his nose. And so forever and a day, he's never been able to smell again. And so when he would be in there, he couldn't smell it. He goes there to change some stuff with his filter, do something. And dude gets woozy, passes out basically. That's where, that's how all of this happened. And then so he calls his insurance company, or he calls, the gas people. He wants to report this. Hey, you got to get somebody down here, because the person that ended up found him was a good friend who happened to just see his car at the office on a Sunday and was like, what are you doing here? Finds him, basically saves his life. But from that, the cops were like, oh my God, this man did it. And I was like, these cops can't be that stupid. You know what I mean? There's a 63-year-old man who's been practicing in your town for 20 or 30 years, and he has a damn gas leak. And that's just all that it was. But here you think that he was feeling guilty for killing Dr. Drake. And so this is what he did. I couldn't believe it. You guys, they put this shit in writing. And so it gets me thinking about this Idaho4 case. And I'm like, well, God, well, look at, like, if you're going to lie about a 911 call, what the hell did y'all lie about in this, PCA? So I pull up here and I'm going to read this because it's batshit. It's nuts. So remember, Jennifer Drake goes and she files suit against Dr. Moore because I'm going to sue you for wrongful death. Okay? Because you were the one that killed my husband. Even though there's not a shred of evidence other than a coerced, false, yeah, sure, whatever I need to tell you to get me the hell out of this, interrogation. And so he's just wildly making shit up, and you can listen to the tape. It's that he's like, I don't know what to tell you guys. I don't know this guy. I have no idea what you're talking about. Well, it wasn't me. Oh, but don't you own it? What? No, I had to drive back over where my office was, which is, the cop says 300 or 400 feet. The dude is like 6 football fields away. So no, get your feet in your yards right. And trying to say, he's like, yeah, I had diarrhea. I had to go to the bathroom. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? This is what this man is being so brutally honest. And here, guess what? He has an alibi. This whole time, Dr. Moore has an alibi. And guess who the alibi is? The freaking coroner. The coroner of the damn town. He was with him at his house when the call came into the coroner that, hey, we have some gunshots. We're going to need you. The coroner is with Dr. Moore at the coroner's house. Well, the Dr. Moore is like, man, do you have any, like, I need some medicine, man. I got the shits. Like, I don't feel good. And he's like, oh, let me go down to my office and see if I have anything there, because the guy's like, I don't have any Imodium. I don't have any, I don't have what you want. Leaves for like 10 minutes because it's all so close. Goes and runs in his office, uses the restroom, grabs, trying to find whatever, then goes back to the coroner's house. This is all on that March 12th. And is literally sitting there with the coroner when the call comes in over the, he has, as a coroner, he has to listen to his name's Mick Millett. They have to listen to the scanners. And so here he gets a page. So when they go to this Dr. Moore to talk to him, he has an alibi, and his alibi is the freaking, yeah, it's not my butt. It's another M. It's Millett. Moulet and my butt. No. Like, it's like, but here, these cops, what are you doing? Why are we zeroed in here on this guy? What's going on here? And they said, well, the coroner's lying for him. He said it. Are they out of their fucking minds? He's been the coroner. He's also a firefighter there. He's been these people are prominent figures that just are literally like, dude, so laid back, have families. Well, Dr. Moore does. Mick, even he has his, I don't know if he's married now, if he was divorced, but he also runs the funeral parlor. Like, what's going on here? Okay. So, and I'm over here just reading this stuff. Like, this has got to be a joke. Like this, like, but no, here you have these the Idaho State Police. They're really conducting this. And it's like, okay, well, can we start with number one? How about the wife? Can we eliminate her? What's going on here? You know what I mean? And so, oh, well, she was in Hayden, they said. Oh, they also said that she called 911 and she didn't. So really, was she in Hayden? I know a lot of wives. The Jared Brannigan case. Wives, guess what they do? They hire people to kill people. that's just a thing that happens. So let's go ahead and eliminate her first, but not these guys. We're gonna work from the outside in. I don't know what they're doing, but this woman lies to them repeatedly in interviews. How do I know this? Because this woman decided to sue Dr. Moore. Dr. Moore then has all of the interrogations and the interviews, and he's using those responses in. So Jennifer Drake was questioned multiple times. Her whole family, Brian Drake's whole family, all these 200 interviews that they conducted. This can then be used, against you or for you or however it's going to be. When Jennifer Drake decided to sue Dr. Moore, all of this stuff then is put into a lawsuit and a complaint. And so let's take a look and let's read this, because I about hit the floor when I read this. I said, this can't be true. This can't be true. No way did this happen. Oh my God. Jennifer Drake admitted to the police that that not only did she not call the police, she told them, I didn't call 911. They called me. What? She also told them that her husband drugged her. What the fuck? What do you mean he drugged you? Yeah, he took my mother-in-law's pills or her drugs. He put them in my drink. I drank them, and then he started taking pictures of me when I was naked. What? You guys, I'm laughing at this, but it's truly not funny, but it is. But you're like, Lana, you can't be really, like, you're making this up. No, I'm not making this up. And guess how I found out about it? It's in a freaking complaint now, because Jennifer Green went after Dr. Moore. And Dr. Moore is like, is this woman okay? So here, check this out. Just so I can show you, and this is public knowledge. Go check it out. There's a complaint out there. Let me show you. Let's see. I think this is this one. The Moores are suing like everybody. I would be suing everybody if I was them too. Okay. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Let me share this. Whoopsies. Let me see. Is this the one that's... Hold on one second. Oh, wait. Not that one. Hold on. Wait, what's this one? Okay, complaint. So... This was filed on August 30th, 2022. And again, so they're suing. They're suing the Moores are suing. So Dr. Moore, they're suing, they countersued back. So they're suing Jennifer Drake in one. And then another one, they're suing ISP, Bonners Ferry. They're suing all like the counties and stuff like that. And they're suing Tolson. That's how I got to all of this, was through Tolson. And so all these people are being sued. But I got down to the facts, and the facts on why all of these people, like, here you go, Ann Taylor, this is a silver platter for you. Jennifer Drake never called 911. She told the police she never called 911. I don't know what to tell you. They put in a probable cause affidavit that Jennifer Drake called 911. The reason that the 911 call was after a different person was because it got dispatched around. So you not only lie about a 911 call, but then you lie on how it was redirected after Jennifer Drake is telling these ISP detectives, I didn't call 911. Here is my phone. There's no emergency call in here. There's no 911. I didn't call. In fact, they called me at like 7:42 or 7:44. What? Yeah, he was wrongfully imprisoned in jail, sitting there for 2 months. Practice was ruined. Reputation's been ruined. Everybody in the town thinks that he killed Dr. Drake, and that the only reason that he isn't in prison is because he has a high, that they're rich, and he paid some high time, big time shot lawyer that got him off on a technicality. Well, that's just not the case. And in fact, ISP and Bonners, they think that Dr. Moore is still the one. And we just need to go get more evidence on Dr. Moore. And I'm like, okay, then you guys need to see this for yourselves, because these officers are either inept or they got paid from that fucking life insurance policy. It's one or the two, because there is no way that you would listen to Jennifer's answers to questions and then, knowing that she's lying to you, be like, oh, that's okay, and be fine with it. That's just not possible. And we're going to let you guys decide what you think. But again, it's important, because those of you guys that are following the Idaho4 case, if you truly want to follow the case, this is why Ann Taylor is going ham on who the hell is running this investigation. What are these people doing? What were they trained to do? Because this isn't what you would do. None of this is what you would do. And everybody thinks, oh, Ann Taylor's just trying all these tricks and blah, blah, blah. No, guys, these aren't tricks. This is crazy. Crazy to the point that Jennifer tells the police that she didn't call the police because they know, but tells other people that she called the police. So here we go. Where did this go? I got so many damn things open. All right. This is Moore, husband and wife of the plaintiffs, and the defendants are the city of Bonners Ferry, Brian Zimmerman, Martin Ryan, Michael Van Leuven, Gary Tolson, and John and Jane Doe. They were agents of Bonners Ferry Police Department and ISP. They demand a jury trial. Plaintiff, Dr. Moore, has since August 27, 2020, lived the unimaginable nightmare of having been wrongfully arrested and charged with second-degree murder and suffering the disgrace of having provided a false confession to a crime he did not commit. How did they obtain that false confession? Because of their tactics, because of their ways. So imagine if they were able to do this to a 63-year-old man. These are the same people that were interviewing Bethany. that were interviewing Dylan, Jack D, you name it. This is what's going on. These are what these people in ISP is what they were doing. They were involved early on, and they were making decisions in the investigation on which way to go and who to believe in. Okay, somebody said multiple things, but which one are we going to believe that's, truly the truth? We're going to just take these phone records, but fuck those phone records. Like, give me a break. But you have to explain why they took Dylan's word over Bethany's word and things like that. So everybody that thinks that like Payne and Moscow is like, dude, they little shits in a huge big pond. They ain't shit. Okay. Yeah, it was their case or whatever, but and remember, Payne can only go by what other people are telling him, because that's how this works. They say, oh, we're going to talk to the other investigators, and then we all get together, and then, so whatever these ISP guys would report to someone like Payne. Well, think about it. I just told you that they made up a 911 call that never fucking happened. Oh, and that's motherfucking breaking news right there. Like, you can't get much more bombshell than that. ISP puts in a probable cause affidavit that there was a 911 call made, and this was the words spoken to them were, I did not call 911. You didn't call 911. And everybody can say, well, why didn't she call 911? I'm going to tell you why I wouldn't call 911. If I'm on the phone and someone says, wait, oh my God, I think I just got shot. Oh my God, I think someone just shot me through the window. I'd be like, what are you talking about? Like, what? Like, I would not be like, oh my God, I got to get off the phone, call 911. I'd be like, call 911. What are you doing? Why? What? I would be like, so like, whoa. I would be so confused. I wouldn't be like, oh my God, I gotta go call 911. Like, who is it? What do you mean someone shot you? Where are you? You're in your office? Like, she makes it seem like he tells her this and then he was just incapacitated. Like, he just passed out. Well, he got shot in the back. It went, and it grazed his, what was it? His pulmonary artery. And I said, okay, great. So he internally bled. Awesome. But you wouldn't die instantly. So how long would you have if somebody grazed your, like 5 minutes? So what I could see happening here is if I'm on the phone with you, I'm saying, oh my God, stay on the phone with me. Stay on the phone with me. Okay, I'll call 911. I'll get someone's phone. I'll take one of the kids' phone. I'll call 911. I'll use this, because why wouldn't he call 911? You'd get off the phone with her unless he was told, no, I'm calling 911. I just got off the phone with him. So he hears this fake 911 call may be happening, because why wouldn't, that's the only reason I wouldn't call 911 is if my wife tells me she's calling 911. So then it's like, and he's like, no, I'm keeping you on the phone. Stay with me. Stay with me. You can't, so this is happening. And he thinks that she's calling 911. That's the only thing that makes sense to me, because I want a nurse, I want a doctor, I want someone to tell me when they were to look at this autopsy, when this guy was struck, okay, with when he was struck, how long he would have had until he would have bled out, and would he been able to talk? Like, let's get to some, because she describes it as, oh my God, I've been hit. Oh my God, I think someone just shot me through the window. but she didn't hear a gunshot. What? But yet the Isaac kid and his girlfriend across the way heard a gunshot? It was all internal. There was hardly any blood at the scene. Well, he would have bled in very fast because there was no blood at the scene. Again, so somebody would just, be your ME would be, discussing all of this. And then we get to talk about the trajectory of it. Well, what type of gun was it? What type of bullet did you find? Now let's talk about the trajectory of this and the window. And let's talk about where he's laying and how he's laying. And where was the phone at? You know what I mean? But I couldn't believe it when I did all of this digging that even in the complaint, the Moore family thought this whole time that Jennifer Drake called 911. Can you believe it? The Moore family investigator thought that she had called 911. Hey, Lana uncovered that. She sure did. And when you're going through so much shit, the simplest thing that you could easily, that you think, how would you miss that? Well, I'll tell you how you miss it. When a officer of the law writes it in a probable cause affidavit that he swears to, that she called 911. That's how you would miss it. But when you take all the reports and you listen to every single fucking thing that you've ever heard, and you take the time to put hours and hours and hours to listening to something and reading paper after paper after paper, and I'm like, wait a second. Jennifer Drake told the police that she didn't call 911. Why is Van Leuven saying that she did call 911? Why would anybody lie about that? Why would I risk my job? Why would I risk my job? And how do I think that I'm going to get away with writing an affidavit if she didn't call 911? Isn't this going to come out somehow? When they question her on the stand? Isn't this eventually going to get somewhere? And it's just like, well, wow, it got thrown out. Nothing's happening. And I have no idea if Jennifer is involved whatsoever. But I'm saying that the cops did not do their job, because I don't know who gets lied to repetitively. And they say like, hey, I'm one of the best ISP detectives that there's ever been. Meanwhile, this housewife just manhandled you. Total jerk job. No lube. Just manhandled the investigators. Or they knew and they got a piece of the pie. So, whatever you want to take, you can take. But but what really upset me was that you have a 63-year-old guy and you have his wife and you have their kids, and this is where they grew up and this is where they were raising their family. And it's like, how does a community, turn their backs on people like that? Why? Because you guys will truly think that Dr. Moore's wife was having an affair with a 43-year-old man. Like, they're in like their 60s. You know, no offense. Like, I'm sure Dr. Moore's wife is a real stunner, okay, with a great personality, but like, they don't even know each other. Like, there's nothing, there's no connection. Kind of like Brian Kohlberger. There's no connect. Like, where's the connect? There's nothing connecting these people. And then they said that, well, no, Dr. Moore just did it because Dr. Drake stole 30 of his patients. 33 of his patients. Then I said to myself, wait a second. Let's look at Dr. Moore's patients and what type of business he runs. And then let's look at Dr. Drake's. And I was like, Dr. Drake almost lost his license, maybe did lose his license because he was banging one of his patients and his wife found out about it, lies to the police, tells him that, no, there was never an affair. There was no affair. Like, wait, your husband, you guys paid out like a $20,000 settlement to some girl who basically was like, hey, like, if you want to settle this out of court, let us know. Back in Austin. So much so that the whole family knows about it. They were interviewed about it. They tell the police about this. And then when they asked Jennifer about it, she's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. The fuck? She's like, maybe I've lost my mind. What do you mean you don't know that your husband put his dick in someone else and that's why you left Austin? Like, I just, if somebody said that to me and I was an investigator and they say, they're like, well, we've heard this from 5 people. They've told us that you guys left Austin because you're embarrassed. Embarrassed of what? There was no affairs. There was no, well, whatever, what do you call it? What are you going to call it? You know? And how did I learn this? I read this complaint because I was blown away. I was like, how does Dr. Moore know all of this shit about this family? He's saying that he doesn't know them. So I kept reading and I'm like, wait, oh my God. Oh my God, I think they confessed to this shit somewhere. Sure shit they did. They took everything that's in this complaint is what this family, whether it was her side, whether it was his side, whether it was her sisters, these are all witness statements that were taken as far as, you know, and I'm just like, wait a second, but these are all Christian people. These are all supposed to be God-going people. Oh, and he had vodka in his system, like 0. He was basically at the limit. Like, if he would have got pulled over, he would have got DUI. He was 0.08. He has water bottles laying around his office that were full of vodka. She's like, what are you talking about? He doesn't drink. Then he has a bottle of vodka just in his car. Well, what do you mean? Yeah, we drove around to liquor store. Like, they know him. They know his order. Your sister refers to him as her drinking buddy, but you have no idea that they drink and that he drinks. And we're not just talking like, oh, glass of wine. We're talking like gets hammered. Like, I was just like, and here, this is all in these complaints that are public now. It was private, but now it's all public knowledge. Why? Because Jennifer Drake sued Dr. Moore for wrongful death. And I'm like, has she totally lost her mind? Why would you ever do that? All of this shit is going to go public. Like, all of this shit that the police kept so hidden. You suing for what? Greed? Money? You just got $1 million. You got $1 million life insurance policy. You got $50,000 or $60,000 for GoFundMe. You got the church probably just handing you money because they feel bad. You're a widow. That's what everyone does. And who calls their life? Who? That wouldn't be my first phone call. Would be to my insurance company saying, "Where's my check for my mill?" Um. You know, I have no idea. Right now, I have no idea who killed Dr. Drake. Okay. But I can tell you that it was not Dr. Moore, and it was not with the candlestick, and it was not in the billiards room. But I can tell you that people have been lying to the police, and the police have been lying to us. So that's what I can tell you, and I can prove it. And now I ask myself, holy shit, well, Anna, everything that you've been saying about the Idaho4 case, well, this is kind of like the recipe that you've been waiting for to say, told you so. Told you so. Who are these cops and what's going on? Because they're just taking people's statements and completely writing whatever the hell they want. Because it is on recordings, it is in writing that Jennifer Drake told the police, I did not call 911. They recorded her saying this. It's transcribed. She didn't call any emergency line. The ISP officer wrote it in his affidavit. He swore to this under oath, which was the probable cause to arrest Dr. Moore. You know how much money Dr. Moore and his family have paid out? And you couldn't imagine how many different avenues you want to talk about. Who should be responsible for that? This would have never happened had y'all never arrested this man. Okay? And why is Jennifer Drake so adamant that this man killed her husband? Oh, because of you guys. So maybe Jennifer Drake should sue the police department. That's going to be her own friggin' option because she's about to lose her civil suit really bad. And she should hand over that $1 million to the Moores. Then she should go and sue the police department. That's what I would do. And I think that she owes the Moores the biggest apology ever. Because she knows damn well, she doesn't even know who Dr. Moore is. She doesn't even know. She didn't even know him. But I can tell you what, she thought a lot of other people killed her husband. That's the truth. She thought a woman named Eldora from Hawaii killed. Like, what? That maybe she had her brother do it. Like, get out of here. What are you talking about? Eldora. I'm going to try to get in touch with that woman. She's a sweetheart. Where are Jennifer Drake's phone records, right? He had an alibi. Oh, I know. The coroner, you would think if the coroner can get you off of, that's how little they thought of Mick. So if I was Mick, I'd have issues with that. Like, what do you, and you know what? I do believe he took a lie detector test. I believe that he passed. I think he was given some lie detector test. But you guys, this is right in front of our faces. Here's the evidence. But here, let's take a look. We're going to end with me reading some of this complaint. Let's see.
It might look like it, but this isn't a national production. It's local. It's the people who live here covering the teams that play here. Every sport at every level. SWX Nonstop Local Sports.
Well, it has now been 3 years since a Bonners Ferry chiropractor was found executed in his office. Dr. Brian Drake was shot from behind as he sat at his desk.
An arrest for second-degree murder came a few months later. A fellow chiropractor in town, Dr. Daniel Moore, but the case against him quickly fell apart when his alleged confession was ruled by a district court to be coerced. However, prosecutors appealed, and the fight went to Idaho Supreme Court, which dismissed various parts of the argument.
The end result is that charges could be refiled against Moore, but as of tonight, there was no one facing criminal charges for the death of Dr. Drake.
The investigation into what happened that March evening is ongoing, and now the Drake family is getting creative to try to generate new tips and leads.
And they tell our Help Me Haley they want justice. They will stop at nothing to get it.
Small town community, closely knit.
Bonners Ferry, Idaho.
You've got a lot of family-oriented people, a lot of people that attend local churches.
The address for about 2,500, home of the Badgers. Nestled along the Kootenai River, the Selkirk Mountains almost serving as protectors from evil until they couldn't.
How did you find out what happened? I was on the phone with them when it happened.
Just like the community where murder victim Dr. Brian Drake would launch his successful chiropractor business. His wife says he was wholesome, a man of God, loved music and family.
He was amazing. We had it all. We really did.
Brian and Jennifer married in '99. Love at first sight.
Oh, it was. Was it? Yes, we met at church.
Brian's career took them to Montana, Texas, and finally North Idaho, welcoming babies along the way.
We have 4. We have 3 boys and a girl. Very few people ever win the lottery like I did.
They had hit that sweet spot in life by the time Brian, Dr. Drake, opened up his own office along this stretch of Main Street in Bonners Ferry.
A great chiropractor, as an opinion from his wife.
But also his patients.
Very compassionate. He helped me out a lot.
She didn't want her face on camera. Who could blame her after what happened on March 12th, 2020?
He was an innocent man who... Sorry. Who was killed at the end of a business workday.
While on the phone with his wife.
It's a memory of sitting next to my daughter when it happened, and I'm the one who had to call 911.
Responding officers found her husband of 21 years executed as he sat at his desk.
He did not know. It was behind him. Somebody shot him in the back through a window, and by the time he realized what had happened, the next step was unconsciousness.
A space once dedicated to healing turned the first murder scene in city limits since the early 1960s. And despite, as Jennifer calls it, diligent police work, 3 years later, the case remains open, in desperate need of perhaps you.
We really are hoping that somebody will come up with some more information to substantiate what we already know.
Billboards like this one along 95 are trying to appeal to whoever that could be.
We have a $10,000 reward.
Brian's face, front and center, a some 672 square foot reminder to the public of what already consumes Jennifer's mind.
As the saying goes, for evil to triumph, good men do nothing. And I believe that we owe it to my husband, and not just my husband, but my children and the community at large, that something is done.
Haley Gunther.
I will fight for closure, and I will fight for justice.
Nonstop Local.
How painful. Oh, our hearts go out to her family. For more information on the reward, head to our website, nonstoplocal.com.
From there, hover over the Spokane, North Idaho tab, then news, then click on the Help Me Haley section on just getting that message out and continuing to fight, looking for justice in this case.
All right, let's.
When it comes to weather, nonstop local means Jenny Power.
Did she say she called 911? Now, see, like, this is just wild to me. Like, oh my God. Okay. She tells the officers multiple times she did not call 911. So I think it's only fair that where's the 911 call? Why couldn't they play the 911 call? Why will they never be able to play the 911 call? Because it's not there. But do you understand that they said, what she said there at the end, we already know what we know, and that we already have our guy. Okay. Dr. Moore. We need more. We need more. So that's slander. Okay. This is what is in these complaints. That here she goes again. This was just in March now. She goes back out to tell the world in March 29th, 2022, 2023. She tells the world at the end of March, they put up another sign, a billboard, giving now a reward, and they want, we just need more information for what we already know. We just need more because we can't arrest him. Well, yeah, you did, but we need more. Well, I hope that more isn't you on the stand because you did not call 911. Why would you tell the police that you didn't call 911? Say, here, yeah, this is the only phone I used. This is the only phone I had. I didn't call 911. What time would that call have been? She didn't call 911. Nope, she didn't call 911. She told the police she did not call 911. It's written. It's transcribed. It's recorded. It's transcribed. How did I find this out? Because she sued Dr. Moore for a wrongful death suit, civil suit, which then led to Dr. Moore. When she sued Dr. Moore countered. And Dr. Moore and his attorney, she is amazing. She's like an Ann Taylor. Anyways, she fell back with this counter. And it lays it all out. And it's all out there to be seen. It is the cops lied. She did not call 911. Yes. And she didn't lie to the cops because she told the cops that she didn't call 911. So why the cops went with this narrative and then they told her to go with this narrative? I mean, this is some whacked out motherfucker shit. But do you think that she left the interview and was like, wait a second, I really did call 911. I think that she would remember calling 911. I don't think that she would tell the police that you never called 911 if you did not call 911. But here we go. I want to read some of this to you guys. But this is how this all came about. Let me shut that off. God bless America. Damn it. All right, let me go back to this. All right. They tried to get the coroner on conspiring to commit murder. Do you guys understand that I'm digging in such a weird direction? Because it's like they were after this coroner. Like, They were trying to get this corner on conspiring with Dr. Moore. Crazy. And then, okay, so bear with me when I read this because there are going to be a couple times that I have to give a little chuckle because it's that wild. Okay. It's that wild. Let's see. And how about Twitter changing it to X? I mean, come on. I can't even get with it. I can't even focus. Twitter. You guys, I've missed you so much. Let's see. Let's see. All right. We're not twits, so I'm okay with it. Twitter. Don't even get me started. X. You guys, I see this pop up. I'm like, what is this? It's the X Factor. Is Boston here? Hi. Hi. He probably owed money to drugs and escorts, etc. Well, then I got into like their whole business, and I just never met a chiropractor that deals with just like no computers. The man didn't have a computer. He didn't like, how do you have any files? How would you know who Dr. Moore and Dr. Drake, and if they possibly have crossover patients, if this man kept no files? Yes, Lana, I've been here, my love. Hi. Okay, so here's Jennifer's lawsuit again. The only reason, guys, and this is really important, the only reason that literally this came out, okay, is because Jennifer Drake filed a lawsuit against the Moores for wrongful death after it got kicked out. So it gets kicked out of the courts, all right, gets dismissed, and then so it gets kicked out, and then she's like, okay, well, I'm gonna do what what happened to OJ Simpson, and I'm gonna sue for wrongful death. And then when that happened, that's when, it's not that, the Moores sued the widow. They only countersued because of everything. Lynn, I missed your lives with my nightcaps, but not tonight. Hope your vacation was great. Thanks. It was perfect. So think about that. None of this would have come to light, not in the fashion that it's coming to, and maybe not for a long time, but it came because Jennifer sued the Moores. Because she's like, you killed my husband. And she's telling the world this. You guys, I just played the clip. We already know what we already know. We just need more. What a bizarre thing to say, but and she says a lot worse of things. I mean, she ruined everybody involved in this. And I just personally believe that she knows that Dr. Moore has nothing to do with it because Dr. Moore didn't know y'all, period. You know that. And if you're, running the business like you say, you're the one that knows what his schedule is, when he would have saw his last patient. You're the one that knows, who his patients are. Can you believe it? They took about, I think, 18 videos, like surveillance cameras, but none of the surveillance cameras that were right in that area were working. They were all for show. How would you know that? How, like, isn't that wild? How would anybody know that? Give us more, Lana Banana. What's up, Gina girl? Gina, you ain't a member of this channel? What the hell's wrong with you? I'm the only one that's spitting facts 24/7. Meanwhile, everybody else is like, oh my God, Papa Rogers. The fuck cares? It's not him. It hasn't been him. Everybody looks like fools. Oh my God, they talked about the sheath. Well, if there was a knife stabbing, there's sheaths that go on knives. It's not the end of the world. I mean, just crazy. Okay. Here we go. Who's the real? Okay. Boom. Got it. Can I make it bigger? Oh, yeah, there we go. Oh, God. Fancy. This is fancy. Okay. So the defendant admits paragraphs 1, 8, 15, yada, yada, yada. The defendant denies paragraphs, da, da, da. The defendant is without sufficient knowledge, information, or belief, and therefore denies paragraphs, whatever. This is where the defendant is admitting in part, denying in part. Then they go to, let's see. The defendant, and that's okay. So the Moores, they're the defendant. The defendant avers that chiropractic patient routinely sees other chiropractors and then return. Like that's something that happens, returning in a high turnover, and therefore denies this part of paragraph 18. The defendant admits in part and denies in part paragraph 20 of the complaint. The defendant, Daniel L. Moore, admits that he drove his Toyota truck in Bonners Ferry, Idaho, sometime during the evening of March 12th, but denies circling the block where Drake Chiropractic office was located. The defendant admits in part and denies in part the allegations in paragraph 21 of the complaint. The defendant admits that the allegations of paragraph 21 are partially true, but affirmly affirms that two patients of Dr. Drake who had an appointment with him on the evening of his death in the time frame referenced in paragraph 21 reported seeing a large white pickup truck, but specifically a two-toned Ford with extended mirrors, features inconsistent with Dr. Moore's pickup truck, in the drive-through of the Far North Coffee Lodge. Next. Here we go. Here's the counterclaim. This is where I was just like, holy balls. Counterclaim. Now come the above named defendant, Daniel L. Moore. We're going to refer to him as Dr. Moore, by and through his attorney. And they're countering against Jennifer Drake and on behalf of her children, and they give the initials. And then she is the vice president of Drake Chiropractic of North Idaho, PC. Drake Chiropractic of North Idaho, PC. They have jurisdiction. The facts. Number 8. Dr. Moore realleges and incorporates by reference the allegations in the above paragraph of their counterclaim as it fully set forth herein. Dr. Moore was a licensed chiropractor and owner of Moore Chiropractic located in Bonners Ferry. He practiced from 2001 to 2022. He practiced in California before that. Dr. Moore was well established and well respected as a chiropractor in the small county of Bonners Ferry. He was very busy before and after Brian Drake began practicing as a chiropractor in Bonners Ferry. Moore Chiropractic was a thriving and profitable business before and after Brian Drake began practicing as a chiropractor in Bonners Ferry. Brian Drake and Drake Chiropractic never presented any threat to Dr. Moore and Moore's chiropractic business success, nor cut into their client base in any economical way significant. Indeed, Dr. Moore and Moore Chiropractic during the course of their chiropractic care. Dr. Moore never met Brian Drake. Dr. Moore did not kill Brian Drake. Number 15, Dr. Daniel Moore had no motive to kill Brian Drake. Number 16, at the time of Brian Drake's death, as plaintiff well knew, there were multiple people, including herself, with motives to kill Brian Drake. Yet plaintiff has persisted for her financial and other selfish motives to create a publicly false persona of herself and her late husband. And mind you guys, this is what I read the first time when I was looking into all this. I'm like, holy shit. We're about to get the tea. Because you're about to get the tea here. I'm not leaving anything out, but this is the real deal. This is insane. As plaintiff well knew, our laws and system of justice provide that all citizens charged with state crimes are presumed innocent and are entitled to that presumption of law until their guilt has been proven by the state beyond a reasonable doubt. As plaintiff well knew, individuals charged with felony offenses are guaranteed by our state and federal constitutions the right to a trial by a jury of their peers. Notwithstanding the presumption of innocence and right to a trial by a jury afforded to Dr. Moore under our laws and system of justice, plaintiff has pursued an relentless effort to establish Dr. Moore's guilt in the eyes of the public prior to any proof of his guilt being established in a court of law to garner sympathy for herself, raise money, and influence potential jurors in Dr. Moore's criminal case and in plaintiff's case herein. Knowing full well that Dr. Moore had no motive to kill her husband, and having no specific knowledge that he did so, plaintiff has maliciously persisted in her public portrayal of Dr. Daniel Moore as a murderer, requiring punishment and not entitled to his presumption of innocence or his day in court as guaranteed to all citizens of the United States and Idaho who stand accused of crime. Since Brian Drake's killing, plaintiff has published a false narrative about herself and her marriage and family as one of a quote-unquote good Christian family, free of any shortcomings or moral failures, in an effort to portray herself as a victim of Dr. Moore and to collect more money for herself than she already obtained through the $1 million life insurance policy she took out prior to Brian Drake's murder, payable to her upon his death. As plaintiff well knew, Dr. Moore had no motive and in fact did not kill her husband, but rather was the scapegoat targeted by law enforcement after their inept investigation failed to identify the actual killer of Brian Drake and failed to reasonably investigate plaintiff Jennifer Drake's own motives and role in his killings. I'm like, holy shit, like this is the real deal. At the time of Brian Drake's death, plaintiff knew many facts about her husband that she has withheld from the public narrative. She has published and omitted materially important information from the narrative to shield herself from suspicion in Brian Drake's killing and attempt to influence public opinion and potential jurors in Dr. Moore's criminal trial. Oh, wait, did I go too far? Oh, there must be something missing because it says Oh, what the heck? Oh, there you go. Let me just finish that here. Oh, there was stuff there on the bottom. Contrary to her public portrayals of her husband as a good Christian and family man, as plaintiff well knew, Brian Drake was a philanderer, addicted to porn, abused alcohol and other substances, had sexually abused her and other women, and had been physically abusive to her and the Drake children. I about saw this and died. I said, what is this? Thank you. Love you back. I said, holy shit, where are the more? Who's their investigator? You know what I mean? I was like, who's their investigator? No, they just, all these witnesses said all this to include herself. She told this to the police. I said, did someone tell her that she was going to confession? Or did someone tell her that she's going to the police station? Because she goes to the police as well as her sisters and other people and just admit to the wildest shit that I've ever heard in my life. You are admitting to that your husband drugged you? You don't think that's a reason that you'd want to kill a motherfucker? What are you talking about? Like, I've just never heard somebody admit that, yeah, like my husband took his mom's pills, put them in my drink, and drugged me, and then took pictures of me naked. And then who knows what. Moving on. Number 26. As plaintiff well knew, Brian Drake, her own husband, had drugged her and took pornographic photos of her while she was unconscious. This is in document. Multiple documents. She tells the ISP, the officers, this shit. And I'm just like, what did they do? Look at each other, Tolson and Van Leuven, and say, well, shit, she's about to make a mill. We know she did this shit. Let's tap in on that mill and we'll cover for her. But we got to get half of that money. You know what I mean? Like, what is going on here? Do you know how many people would and this would have never been known. This would have never been known, but she sued Dr. Moore. Number 27. As plaintiff well knew, her husband, Brian Drake, had difficulty in his professional life because he engaged in professionally inappropriate and sometimes sexually inappropriate behavior with his patients and members of professional staff with whom he worked and engaged in extramarital sexual relationships. As plaintiff well knew, Brian Drake left his practice in Austin, Texas, and the Drake family moved to Idaho after he had an extramarital sexual relationship that tarnished the image Jennifer Drake hoped to portray of a good, quote-unquote, Christian family. As plaintiff well knew, Brian Drake left his chiropractic practice in Austin, Texas, after a female patient, through legal counsel, made legal demands against Brian Drake and his chiropractic office for violations of HIPAA? What? An intentional infliction of emotional distress? Specifically, as plaintiff well knew, the female patient claimed Brian Drake had repeatedly made lewd and inappropriate comments to her about her breasts and her buttocks while treating her. Further, as plaintiff well knew, the patient claimed Brian Drake had violated her HIPAA privacy rights and invaded her privacy in violation of Texas privacy laws through his quote-unquote intentional and malicious disclosure of her confidential patient medical provider information, including sharing her x-rays and treatment plan to a coworker of the patient whom the patient had referred to Drake for treatment. Wow. Further, as plaintiff well knew, the patient alleged that Brian Drake made public comments about the patient to others, including Jesus. Quote unquote, blank has the nicest ass in the world. How do you handle that every night? And patient's name has the nicest ass I've ever seen. What do you do? What do you think of her ass? Oh my God. Jesus Christ. What is this? Oh my God. This is wild. As plaintiff well knew, Brian Drake faced a lawsuit in Travis County District Court in Texas for these violations against his patient and offered the patient money to settle her claims. Again, this was all told by the sister of, like, the sister-in-law. Brian Drake's sister-in-law, aka Jennifer's sister, told this all to the police. And then Jennifer Drake told this to the police. But not on go one. Now, number 30. As plaintiff also knew, the Drake family left Austin, Texas after Brian Drake engaged in a sexual relationship with a patient of his chiropractic business. And the plaintiff was horrified by the damages to their image she desired to portray of her family as a good Christian family. At the time of Brian Drake's death, plaintiff had many motives to kill her own husband for his ongoing shortcomings, including but not limited to his ongoing pornographic addiction, his inappropriate extramarital relationships with other women, his inattentiveness to his own family and children, his employment instability, his ongoing abuse of alcohol, and his inability to meet their family's financial needs, requiring them to seek financial support from their church and friends just prior to his death. At the time of Brian Drake's death, plaintiff had secured a $1 million life insurance policy payable to her upon Brian Drake's death. Plaintiff had secured no such policy to protect her family in the event of her own death, though. At the time of Brian Drake's death, plaintiff was on the phone with him, knew his location, knew that his patient who would be witnesses were gone, and could relay this information to the shooter. Oh, shit. That is some shit right there. Do you understand? None of this would be out in the public right now. You know, like, you understand, the police did not put this out there. Jennifer suing Dr. Moore put this out there because he then countersued with, here we go. You know what I mean? Here we go. This is, you know, we're going to use all of these interviews with the police. Okay, these are interviews with the police. And this isn't all they're going to be able to use. No, his sister-in-law told this. Vicky, no. She told some of it. Jennifer herself told a decent amount. Jennifer herself told the police that she was drugged by her husband through her mom's or her mother-in-law's pills. That's out of Jennifer Drake's own mouth. Jennifer Drake said that she had no idea that they ever settled, that she had no idea about a settlement. The really beautiful thing about someone hitting you with a lawsuit is the discovery phase. My head is spinning. Thank you, Stacy M. Okay. Number 34. Plaintiff proceeded to attempt to cover up for her husband's shortcomings and moral failings to hide her own motives for killing her husband from police when they questioned her about her husband after his murder. When asked if her husband, whose autopsy toxicology report showed he had a 0.08 blood alcohol level and established he had been drinking alcohol even while treating patients at his clinic, had a drinking problem, plaintiff denied any such problem. Knowing that police found a half of an empty bottle of vodka in his gym bag in his car and water bottles filled with vodka throughout his office, plaintiff attempted to nonetheless minimize his problem to police. Plaintiff falsely claimed that Brian Drake was drinking merely to manage pain from his most recent injury. That he said that his leg broke due to him slipping and falling on the ice. Well, his brother-in-law, who was a physician's assistant, told his wife, you cannot get that type of an injury by falling on ice because of the type of injury it was a spiral fracture. And you would have to have, like, your foot has to be wedged into something to get that type of a result. Your legs flying up on top of you from falling on ice, even if something was to land on it, it would crush it. It would not corkscrew it. And so therefore, the type of injury is not consistent with the type of fall. So I said, interesting. That's like a rough up job. Someone's roughing you up for some money. Yes. Spiral fracture will never produce that injury. And the brother-in-law and they weren't trying to talk shit about Brian either. They were just trying to figure out who killed him. So they were saying everything that they knew. And I don't know if Jennifer Drake knew what they had said, but now she has to, unless she hasn't, read the transcribe or listened to the audio. But holy shit, that would cause World War V in somebody's house. Let's see. Knowing that the police, okay, here we go. Knowing that the police had found half empty bottles of vodka in his gym bag in his car, they were scattered all over. Nonetheless, minimizing the problem. Plaintiff falsely claimed that Brian Drake was drinking merely to manage pain from his most recent injury. Plaintiff failed to relay to police that her husband had a drinking problem for years, and she had been frustrated and concerned with his inability to maintain sobriety for years. Knowing her husband had issues with patients and had been sexually inappropriate with them, including those instances described in paragraph 29 above, plaintiff failed to disclose this information in her interview with law enforcement after her husband's death. Again, this is what I get to read the first time, and I'm like, holy shit, You're acting like you don't know that your husband's having an affair and so you're playing dumb, right? And the reason that you would do that is because it's giving you motive if you are aware of that. Were you aware that your husband was doing X, Y, and Z? No. If I'm not aware of something, then I'm not going to be doing anything about it because I'm not aware. But if I am aware of something, then okay, what did I do about it? Nothing. Or so knowing right here. Knowing that her husband had taken countless pornographic photos and videos of herself and likely his own patients to feed his addiction to porn, Plaintiff failed to fully disclose this information in her interviews with law enforcement after her husband's death. With every motive to commit the killing herself and knowledge of the numbers of others with motives to do so, plaintiff has maliciously undertaken to instead smear and discredit Dr. Moore, to publicly defame him to fit this narrative she hopes will influence public opinion against Dr. Moore, prevent the public from knowing the truth about her own husband, and to obstruct the administration of justice in the pursuit of finding Brian Drake's true killer. Like, shouldn't you want to get the person that killed and murdered your husband? Like, lady, this dude did not do it. He just didn't. He has one of the most solid alibis you could possibly have. He was with a guy that is the coroner when the call came out. Passed the polygraph. Like, I mean, the fuck. Yeah, either these cops are stupid or corrupt. Exactly. And when did they decide? Because you can see a difference of a tone kind of with them. Like they're listening, and you can hear with certain questions that they ask, okay, they're with it, you know? But at what point did they decide we're going to get in on it? The money. Because what else are you getting in on? Why would you lie about her making this 911 call? I want to see the 911 call. I want to see the phone records. Where's Jennifer Drake's phone records? I want to see Jennifer Drake, what time she called 911. And I want to know why Jennifer Drake would tell the police that she didn't call 911 if in fact she did call 911. That makes absolutely no fucking sense. But the police were like, you're going to say that you did. And when I say the police, ISP, the same people that are working on Brian Kohlberger's case. So if you don't think that this matters, sorry about your luck, but you're a fucking moron. It matters. Okay. Would you want someone like this investigating your case? I highly doubt it. Now, they knew that Jennifer Drake was cashing in for $1 million. $1 million. Of all the people, we're going to pick Dr. Moore, though. Like, how about just nobody gets blamed for this? There is no such thing as, oh, if you don't find the killer, we don't pay out the mill. That's not how that works. Okay. There is no money if Jennifer is involved. Okay. So why can't this just not go solved? Well, because it's Bonner's Ferry and, nothing ever happens there. So we have to well, how are all of these cameras that were in that area, how could they not be working? How could they just be for show? What the hell is going on? But that you grabbed 18 cameras that were working in the area, but none of them were anywhere near this, meaning like, what's up with this coffee place? No cameras there. We'll get into it tomorrow because I have more. Let's see. The plaintiff's buy-in through Jennifer Drake established the public Facebook page Brian Jennifer Drake, in which she communicated and created a public forum. So this is what she went out and did on social media. And it said, in this public forum, Jennifer Drake published, God answered our prayers. We have answers. In reference to the arrest of Dr. Moore. She basically told everybody, God answered our prayers. We have answers. As in like the police saying, this is what happened to your husband. This is how this went down. But guess what? When they arrested Dr. Moore, they arrested him on that shitty ass probable cause, which we will get into that again tomorrow, even more so, because I'm going to compare Brian Kohlberger's probable cause to some of the language. I'm going to use different things to show you guys why this is important. But right here, what did the police tell you? the nobody can get shit out of any of law enforcement in the Idaho4 case. Kaylee's dad, they're not telling us anything. They're not telling us anything. Well, guess what? The police, these ISP officers, were just spilling the tea to Jennifer. They were telling her things that, what are you doing? Why would you ever tell Jennifer that none of these cameras were working? Oh, yeah, those ones didn't work, and those ones didn't work. The ones at the gun place didn't work. No, those are just for show. There are no cameras at the gun store. Last time I checked, you don't tell that to people. Thank you, Rock Chalk. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. The cameras were all working. Well, let's see which ones are available then. Because they told her, and I can prove that they told her this, that none of those cameras were working that were around there. So were they working, but they waited for so long to go get them, so therefore there was nothing on them? I don't know. So then in this public forum, Jennifer Drake published, there is a saying or a rule. There is always two sides to every story, but then there is always an exception to every rule. And this story is the exception to that rule. There is no other side to the story. This senselessness is just that. Senseless, period. Wow. Like, I have no words. Like, what she was telling the cops, what her whole family was telling the cops, she's out here telling the world what a shitty ass man Dr. Moore is. Meanwhile, it's her own fucking husband, okay, that's been nothing but pure dog shit to her, dog shit to her family, okay? Or she's at least telling that to people that are, But then again, if you ask anybody about Brian Drake, guess what? He's not here to talk. He's not here to speak. Why would you ever let a man who cheated on you be away from you 2 nights a week? What? Why would you? Oh, I was the one that I encouraged him because I didn't want him to drive that far. Drive how? Like what, an hour to work on those 2 days? Like, I mean, what's the wife up to? Who's she hanging out with? But you ask around and everybody loved Brian, I guess. You even ask the family, oh my God, Brian made you feel like you were the only one in the room. Like, what sister-in-law says that about somebody that's their brother-in-law? That sounds to me like somebody that really liked him. It's like, I love the shit out of my brother-in-law, but I would never say, oh my God, he makes you feel like you're the only one in the room. And then says, well, I bet you if you ask anybody, that's what they're going to say. What? Like, just very bizarre. Very bizarre. Me and Brian, we were drinking buddies. Nobody knew that we drank at family functions. We would have our little stash and we would just drink. But wait, you knew, so you hid this all from your sister and you were just drinking with her husband at all these events. You know what's crazy to me is I don't think that the Drake family and anything that they told the police officers should be put on display. They're trying to find out who murdered their loved one, right? So who's really to blame here? The police officers that didn't do their job, which led to all of this, okay? Or the Drake family who's, mourning their loss All right. Like, think about it. You're the investigators, and you sit down with the wife, and she starts just lying her ass off to you. How do you know that she's lying her ass off to you? Because the family is providing all this information that's actually true, because you go and you reference it and you check it, okay? And you look at it, and you're like, oh yeah, this did happen. Oh yeah, here's this letter. Oh yeah, here's this, here's this, here's this. Okay, so then you got to ask yourself, okay, Miss Moore or Miss Drake, just cut the crap. We don't care that your husband was an alcoholic. Okay, we don't care about that. But they can't come out and say, we don't care that your husband's a cheating bastard, because you have to care about that, right? Because that would be motive. So what they were trying to figure out is, did this woman know about any of this? And her answers to the questions, she sat there and was like, no, I don't know. And I didn't know about this. No, I didn't know about this. No, I didn't know about this. No, I didn't know about this. And so she's either that naive, right? But then she starts slipping up and she starts saying things. And as an investigator, you would have caught on to those slip ups. You can't say when she says, oh, but I ran the business. Okay. Well, then where is everything at? Oh, we didn't have computers. They were all on his phone, these contacts and this other fucking bullshit. And it's like, how are you running a business? It's a chiropractic business, and you don't have computers. How is that even possible? What do you mean you take a cash business? What do you mean? Well, yeah, somebody would come in and they'd pay $250 and they would have five visits. What do you mean they would pay? Yeah, they would prepay for their 5 visits because it's $50 a visit to get adjusted. Okay, and so they would just hand them $250? Like, wait, what? Well, then we took some credit cards sometimes. Okay, well, where are these patient files? Like, do you guys bill insurance? Like, what's going on here? Last time I checked, I can't recall me whipping out cash and handing it to, my doctor who's doing, pelvic exams. I mean, this is, or are you dealing with like, does he have a license? I have no idea, but I'm just like, what? I don't understand. What if you have insurance and it's covered, and do you not take insurance? Can you not bill my insurance? How does that work? Like, it just doesn't make sense. So yeah, she wrote all over this Facebook page, and Bonners Ferry is not that big. Like I said, you could just go and read all this. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm going to wrap this up here now because I want to keep it like a certain amount. But, tomorrow I'm going to show you guys the PCA of Brian Koberger's with some wording in some different areas. And because not only did they lie about this 911 call, okay, this 911 call, they never put in the probable cause what time they got to the scene. Like in Brian Koberger's probable cause, the 911 call was at this time, and then officers were on the scene at like noon or whatever. So I was like trying to look through stuff. I'm like, what time did the officers get there? Like, if they lied about her 911 call even happening, well, I want to see when this Isaac kid called 911 and what did he say? Like, what's up, because if people can just go writing whatever they want in PCAs, I mean, that's just wild to me. That's just wild. Only 4 years to become a chiropractor, making 70,000 plus a year. Well, she said that he was making 120. I have no idea. I had a doctor who only took cash, and I was never able to get my records from him. There you go. They don't have to put everything in a PCA just to arrest. You're absolutely right. 100. But guess what they can't do? They can't lie in a PCA. You can't lie. So go ahead and rewind it and check it out from the beginning there, Donald D. Nice. You can't say a 911 call happened if it didn't happen. You kind of can't do that. But such an insane case, right? Insanity. And y'all haven't even heard half of it. Because it's that wild. It's any investigator, a rookie police officer could sit in the position that Tolson and this Van Leuven and these fucking chiefs and assistants could sit there and totally see in a second, because you have all this information. And it's like, dude, this broad's lying. You know, and then when you start hearing stuff about the business and how it's run, and they're like, here, we have 3 names highlighted. Where are these other people's files? We don't have any of these files. Where are they? We didn't have any files. Wait, what? Well, we had like legal paperwork that they had to sign something or whatever. I'll have to go look. There's like an A through Z file. But like, Brian just kept all the names in his phone. So his contact information was the contact information in a phone. I said, wait, what? Yeah. And then he had weird shit on like, who has the app Black Screen? Like, you download this app, it's called Black Screen. And anytime you like touch something and it makes it look like your phone's dead, like that your battery died. This man had wild apps on his phone. His wife acted like she knew about them. I'll get into a lot more tomorrow. I gotta, keep it clear and concise so you guys can follow along with the story. But the reason that it's important with the Idaho4 case, it's very simple. These are the investigators that were investigating and doing the detective work for the murders in Moscow. And it's like, if you're going to lie in this PCA, then you're going to lie in any PCA, because this lie was not small. There was no fucking 911 call, period. The wife tells the police that she didn't call 911. And they put it in the PCA that she did call 911. Let me tell you something. You're going to be paying me hella cash to do something like that for you. Like, people wouldn't even lie like that for their own family. So why would you lie for Jennifer Drake? Money. That's the only reason. Or there's like a bigger fish like in the sea, like this other stuff can't come out. Whatever Dr. Drake was doing can't come out. So we need this to go away. We cannot have wifey poo singing like a canary. So because she knew what he was doing, and if he was involved with like, I don't know, drug run. I mean, he was in 3 different towns: Hayden, Coeur d'Alene, Sandpoint, Bonners Ferry. I mean, that nice little loop. I mean, he's hitting some really interesting spots. So, again, thank you guys for being here. Yes, he had one hell of an alibi. I mean, down solid proof alibi. It's just like, why would you want to frame this dude? Are you guys that stupid? Go pick some 22-year-old to frame who doesn't have any money to go get an attorney. Very sus. That's my son's new favorite word, is sus. So super sus. Super sus. But been waiting for a minute to talk to you guys about this. Maybe there's just some really big communication issues going on, but I hope that the Moore family, all the Drake people, I'm telling you, like this whole, lot of victims. And I think Brian Drake's a victim. Obviously, he was murdered, his sister-in-law is calling him a sex mania. And then the detective have to say, are you sure that you don't mean he's a sex maniac? Oh, yeah, maniac. She was like, I don't know. He's just this big sex mania. I'm just laughing. Like, whoa. Lana, if this ever gets made into a movie, I hope they call it Bad to the Bone. He was such a sex mania. Do you mean maniac? Yeah, I do. That's what I meant. Like, everyone needs a PI and retainer like Lana. Damn right. But no, this is real. And but just like when you actually think about it, I was like, who the fuck is her attorney? Why in the world would you ever tell this woman to sue them? Have you lost your mind? Because if you don't sue the Moores, this doesn't go anywhere. Like, this never happens. This shit right here, this shit never gets out. Like, and I think that's what people in Bonners Ferry they need to get through their thick skull here is Jennifer Drake sued the Moores. The Moores counter sued and put all that shit out there because it's all true and they can back it up. It's in documents. It's on recordings. It's transcribed. This is what the family and witnesses have said, period. So I think a lot of people in that town, if you know these people, the Moores, their kids, their friends, a lot of people probably owe that family a huge ass apology. And it starts with Jennifer. And she should do whatever she can to try to settle with that family. Because this is straight up, I mean, she's... But guess what? Why wouldn't mainstream media pick this up? Why isn't anybody talking about this? Because guess what? The media people... Why aren't you showing what the heck the Moores are claiming in this lawsuit? And I haven't even gotten to what they're claiming the police did. Wait till I get to that one tomorrow. But all of you pussies, mainstream, you news outlets, you all are pathetic. Okay? Here's a family that's getting totally screwed, and they have the proof, and y'all won't cover it. Well, guess what? I'm going to cover it, and I'm going to out all y'all. Till next time, see you on the flip side. Thank you, all the newbies. Mikey J, good to see you, Lana. Missed your face. Thank you. Missed your name. I'm a mess. Oh my God, the Papa Rogers crack. Yeah. When you don't have content, I guess Papa Rogers. Papa Bone, bad to the bone. Bad. Thank you there, Stacy M. Again, Lana, thank you for all your hard work. Always 100 on point. I try to be factual. with some humor. Lana and the TNT family, y'all rock. We'll pull out the answers in truth. Oh, and by the way, you have the best mods. Thank you. I take pride in this family that we've started and that you guys are all a part of. So, Boston, you like that? I've missed all of you guys. I did enjoy myself. Thank you for those that have asked. We had a blast. And ED, does that stand for erectile dysfunction? Please tell me it does not. Great show again, Lana Mods. Outstanding job. Night, everyone. Night, everyone. Night, night, night. I'm going to do tomorrow morning. I'm going to do a call-in show. It's going to be a little cool. It's going to be kind of whatever you guys want to say. I'm going to just give you your 2 minutes. But this time I get to actually just hit the end button. We're going to see how that works. So, Alsane, good to see you here. Gemini. I think I'm getting Lana. Oh. I think I'm getting Lana Brain. Oh, there you go. Lana Brains are good. Again, you guys are great. Snitches get stitches. Much more vile in Idaho. Death comes to all with loose lips. Oh my God. Yeah, we'll get into that. There was a Snapchat. You guys have so much to tell you about this case and how it's totally similar to Brian Kohlberger's. There was a Snapchat that put out right before the murders that was sent and said that someone's going to die tonight, and it was taken right out front of like kind of like where Dr. Drake's office is. So there's just so much. You're like, what? A Snapchat? Yep, all we need is a cat, guys, and it's on. Oh, all right. Till next time, be kind.
Folks, I know there's a history here. I'd like to get this hearing in today. You know, everybody needs to just focus on the relevant facts, okay? I know there's a history here.
Are you talking up by Sunset Mart? Up the hill by the gas station?
Yeah.
Okay.